Good morning, and it is time for some coffee. So things look a bit different around here, don't they? I've actually moved. I moved in here it's been exactly 7 days ago that I moved in here. And it was a bit of work getting everything in. I had more stuff than I thought I actually had. I had to make a lot of trips to get all of my stuff in to this apartment. And the apartment's a little bit smaller, but everything in it is completely new and of better quality. The last place I lived, it was okay. There was a lot of space. I mean, my living room that I used to have in the other apartment was probably 3 times the size of the living room I have now. But I did want to get rid of a lot of things that I owned that I just don't use. I have things that I've had for about 5 years, or 6 years, or 8 years that I just don't even use, that I've had. And it just sits around and takes up space. So a lot of it I do want to sell or get rid of. And that'll save me a lot of space. But maybe the sound quality isn't too great in this video. I don't know until I edit this and upload it. But I'm getting things set up. Most of it's set up. I will probably move my computer because my microphone probably picks up some of the sound from the computer. And I think I might put a little bit more in this room so that it doesn't have I think there's a little bit of an echo because the room is kind of empty on that whole side. But yeah, everything's good. I think I have better lighting here. I actually get to see the sunrise at my last apartment. The entire direction where the sun was rising and would set, there was trees or other houses that was blocking the light. So I had maybe 5 minutes of the sunset. So here I get to have the sunrise in the morning with my coffee. And I'm hoping that you can hear me clearly because I have to set up the microphone. I'm thinking about moving it to another spot. I'm not sure, but maybe this will work. I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. But I do have my sketchbook here, and we don't have that many pages left until I've got all of this complete. I do have a doodle here that is well, I don't know if you can see it, it's too bright, but I do have a doodle there that I need to complete, and I have, what does that looks like, maybe 10 more pages left until it's done. But anyways, yeah, I got moved in. And I managed to move everything in here by myself. Moving out was a lot easier than moving in, that's for sure. My freezer was probably the most difficult thing to move out, actually. My freezer and... That's really... Well, this one table was kind of difficult because I didn't want the table to bump against anything because I didn't want it damaging the wood. And so I had to be careful going down my steps. My steps at the last place I lived is probably, I don't know, maybe 20 feet high from the bottom of the steps to the top of the steps. And moving in was difficult, getting into that apartment, because the last time I moved in there, it was actually exactly 5 years ago. Yeah, it was 5 years that I lived there. And when I moved in, it was snowing a little bit, just barely, and the steps were covered in ice. I couldn't go through the front of the apartment because it's spiral steps, and you can't fit anything up. You have to turn, and anything that you carry that's longer than 4 feet, you can't go up the steps. So I had to use the side steps. But moving out was a lot easier. I just took everything and set it on its side on the steps and just slid down. I would take one step at a time, and it's actually icy out now. So as soon as I finished moving, that's when it got cold enough to where the steps were freezing. So I got out just in time. But I will be making a lot more videos again. I uploaded a video yesterday of a doodle, and I'll be back on schedule, making all kinds of content and everything else. I was asked about, like, the way that I make videos, how I plan them. Finally, some sunshine. And I was thinking earlier, the term "bear with me," where does that come from exactly? Like, was somebody with a bear, and they said, "This bear is with me, bear with me." I mean, maybe the person was afraid of the bear, and so because of that, they said, "Bear with me." I don't know. It's like some of the sayings that people are getting these days in the 2020s. What would you call it? I guess the 2020s, because 2000s and the 90s and the 80s. I guess you would call it the 20s, but then people might think thinking about 1920s. Anyways, as far as how I make videos, I do plan them out. I write them all in a big, it's like a spiral notebook, and I write everything down when I have ideas. But if I've got everything set up, sometimes I'll just turn the camera on and start rambling on about random stuff, like I am now. And kind of how I think when I talk about stuff is I go from one topic to another one, and sometimes it just doesn't make sense. Let me fix this lighting. Hold on. Might be too bright now. 400. I'm putting it to 400 ISO. Yeah, there we go. That's better. I think it was way too bright earlier. But anyways, I was talking about how like when I think of stuff to talk about, I kind of go all over the place. That's kind of how my thinking is. If I'm talking about one topic, I can talk about that for hours. And then other times when I go to talk about a topic, I will be talking about 1,000 other things that's not even related. That's kind of how my thinking is. Like when I'm drawing stuff, and like, say for example, this random doodle, if I go to draw something like that, there's stuff that's everywhere because that's kind of how my thinking is. It's not really it's kind of just all over the place. What does help me with making doodles, but if I am doing something that is very meticulous and technical and I have to make things more precise, like if I'm doing a drawing of a portrait, then I could just focus on that one thing for a long time. But a lot of times I just prefer doing doodles. This is actually probably the first place I've lived since living up here that I actually had a window where there was a sunrise. I guess all the other places I lived were kind of depressing. I didn't get much sunlight. I had loud neighbors. I had loud cars driving by every day. Dogs barking. The one apartment I lived in back in 2014 and 2015 and most in 2016. So I lived there for 3 years. That apartment had they had to have been, I don't know, 12 to 16 feet high. What is that in the other measurement system? That's like 4 to 5.3 meters. Yeah. So between 4 and 5.5 meters, or between 12 and 16 feet. Man, I'm gonna have to lower the brightness again. There. You're probably watching that like, I can't even see him. There was these trees that was all along the side of the apartment, And the only windows I had was the one in my bedroom, the one in my living room. And there's these huge trees. They were kind of like bushes, but they were like, I guess, mini trees. And they blocked most of the light. So I opened my window and I just see trees right there, like 3 feet from me. I'm like, well, that's pointless. And before that, I lived in this place that was above this restaurant, like sort of like bar place. And I gotta fix this again. I'm gonna set it to auto. There we go. Maybe that'll work. But anyways, it was like this restaurant / bar that I lived above, and my window there, when I pull my blinds to the side or open my blinds, I just looked at another person's apartment. It was like that apartment was, if you combined, it was just a 1-bedroom / living room area with a bathroom. Both of those combined wasn't even the size of this one room. It was like the bathroom was maybe 6 feet by like 3 feet, and the main living room was like 6 feet by like 7 or something. It was tiny. There was pretty much no room in that place. So yeah, I didn't like living there. That was probably one of the worst I lived. So I think, like, if I go back from where I was living, my first apartment or place I lived in when I was living on my own, back when I was like, was that 18 or 20? I think I was 20. Because I think I was living with people when I was like 18, 19. So I think I was like 19 or 20. And I noticed that as I'm getting older, it's slightly improving. So my first place I lived in was just, it was tough to sleep when they're playing music really loud. The next place I lived at was sort of depressing. And then the last place I lived at was better than the last two. This place is a lot better. But I like it here a lot more. I get more sunlight. I got a nice sunrise while I sit here and drink my coffee and talk to all of you, even though at the moment I'm recording this and I'm just talking to the camera and talking to myself, which when I first started doing this, when I made this channel, it felt kind of weird. Well, just like sitting here talking to the camera, and it was hard to talk about anything. I look back at some of the videos when I first started doing it, and I remember I turned the camera on, I'd be talking, and I'd be like, hello, and today I am going to do some drawing, and then I was like all froze up and like, no, it's gotta be more relaxed. I kind of just imagine or pretend that, like, I imagine that my best friend is sitting in front of me and I'm talking to them. That makes it easier. Yeah. But, I'm gonna drink the rest of this coffee. Anyways, so yeah, the video quality right now, the setup and everything isn't completely done yet. I've got to adjust some things like my camera, my lighting, and all this. I mean, I set all this up in pretty much, I don't know, just a couple of hours the other day. And I was like, hey, I think this will work. But yeah, we'll be doing an apartment tour and a drawing setup tour. Maybe what I could do is make it all as separate videos in one video. So there's one video of me rambling on about stuff, of showing you my apartment, and then I can break each section up like, oh, this is my living room, my bedroom, my kitchen. My kitchen is like pretty much 3 steps away. My other apartment, let's just say there's a lot of things that needed fixed in that place. that place was kind of starting to fall apart. And yeah, it does affect my ability to be creative if I'm I wake up and I'm like, oh great, I have a stove that doesn't even work, because if I turn it on, I think the gas might be leaking, and I don't want to have that issue. And then yeah, there's just a lot of stuff that was issues that I had there, but things are all better now. And I look forward to making a lot more doodles. And I think this is actually the first time living on my own where I lived at the first floor, like first level, because the place I'm living at now is like it's a house that's divided in half. And the first place I lived at on my own, which was above this restaurant slash bar, I lived like the second or third floor. I think it's like second, I don't remember. I think it was second floor. And yeah, I could never get sleep there. The next place I lived at was actually, the apartment was halfway underground, and there was giant bushes and trees beside, so it got no light, so it's kind of depressing. Last place I lived had a lot of windows, but they all faced in the direction opposite of where the sun sets or rises. And the two or three windows I had, that actually, one was facing where the sun rises, two was facing where the sun sets, but both of those windows had a giant trees in front of them and a house right there, so I didn't need to see the sunset or sunrise. But yeah, it's a lot better here. But I do want to finish setting all this stuff up. I might actually take my computer and put it, I don't know, kind of on the ground or something, because my computer is water cooled and air cooled, so it does have, I think, 12 fans in it, which doesn't get kind of loud when I'm doing recording. Like if I go to record something, the fans ramp up in speed, and it gets kind of loud, so I had to edit that out of the audio for the video. And I do have the fans and everything set to silent mode, and it's still kind of loud, but I mean, it's not loud, it's just that you'll hear it in the video, so I have to edit all that out. I put it to standard when I first built this computer, and it sounded like a jet, or like what are those? It sounded like what are those things that you use for I don't remember the name of it. It kind of sounded like a jetpack. You know those jetpacks people wear that they've been trying to use to, like, fly around, like maybe, I don't know, 30, 50, 60 feet above the ground. It's kind of what my computer sounded like when I first built it, before I went into the BIOS and fixed the settings so that the fans were running at silent mode rather than standard. And yeah, but that's all better now. But I'll get it all fixed and set up and ready. And so today, let's go ahead and finish up our coffee and get our sketchbook, of which I only have, I think, 10 pages left in here. Where was that doodle I had that's not completely done? Here's the one that's not completely finished yet, as you can see, if you can focus. That one's not done. Probably finish that one up later. The only problem with that is it'll be like a partial video, like a 2-minute video. Maybe I can ramble on for like 10 minutes before a video if it's something short. But I want to go ahead and start on this doodle. And I'm going to be using this pen, which is the Staedtler Mars Matic 0.35 ISO. So I'll be using that. And some coffee. I think I have it made. Coffee, a pen, a sketchbook, and a sunrise. What more could you ask for? Maybe Maybe if I had like a sunroom, like a room to where like the roof and the walls are just made of glass, and I just have a limited amount of sunlight and sunrise, and it's, mountains are pretty scenic and they look nice, but I do like warm weather. I think if I was a billionaire, I wouldn't even know what to do with most of my money. Probably just travel to a lot of places, and I'd have a spot to where something scenic and it looks nice, and I would just sit there and draw, and then maybe go to another location, or maybe have a place that I go to whenever I want warmer weather, or maybe a place I go to if I want something more scenic that might be cold. I don't know. And I have no idea how I started talking about that or why. But anyways, I'm going to finish up my coffee. I'm going to do some doodling. And we'll see what we can make here. So let's go ahead and get into this doodle.